This is Diana and welcome to Crafted Sweetly. In this video, I want to share with you how to make a fun, large Christmas decoration. At the end of this video, I will show you one other way you can use this project. So I'm using a paper lantern, and before I stretch it out, I will do the painting. So I'm going to leave this as flat as possible, and then I'll use the Tim Holtz alcohol inks to apply onto the paper lantern itself. For this, I'm using Tim Holtz's flamingo color and citrus. So I'll take the alcohol ink and just apply it randomly onto the paper lantern. I'm not trying to make any design, just alternating the red and green on the lantern. And I'll do the same on one side and then the other. Now, if you have any questions about this project, feel free to comment below. I do all kinds of videos on all kinds of topics, so be sure to subscribe and share this video if you enjoy it. So I do the painting on one side and then the same thing on the other. Just apply it. And the reason I'm doing this flat versus while I've already stretched out the paper lantern is that it doesn't just kind of roll off as I apply the alcohol ink. It tends to stay more in place. So as you can see, the paper lantern is completely flat, just as it came out of the package at this point. Next step is to do embossing. So I'm going to add embossing ink to half the paper lantern, and then I'll add the embossing powder to it. So I go over it a couple of times to make sure that it's saturated and it has enough of the ink in order for the embossing powder to stick to it. Add the embossing powder and generously shake the powder onto the lantern. We'll shake off any excess. Now we're going to repeat this process of the embossing ink, embossing powder. Once you've added the embossing powder, I'll use a heat gun to set the embossing powder. And you can see on the paper lantern where the embossing powder has been set, because it will become a little shiny versus that white powder on there. So as you can see, there's a shimmer to it where it catches the embossing powder on it. So it just adds a little more interest to the paper lantern. And then I repeat the process on the other side. Once you've finished both sides, then you can start stretching out the lantern. And as you do that, you'll notice that there's a white band right in the center, and that's where the alcohol ink didn't get. Now you could apply it on the edge of the paper lantern itself, but what I wanted to do with this was just add a little more interest to the lantern, so I'm adding a ribbon to it instead of coloring that area. Before doing that, however, I do need to insert this so that it's completely stretched out. Now that the support is inside, you can see that white band a little more. Again, now you could add a little more alcohol ink, but I wanted to add the ribbon, and you can see that glimmer, that glistening kind of from the embossing ink even more now. For the ribbon, I had this really interesting ribbon on hand that looks like fringes, and it has wire in the center, so it's easy to kind of shape around the lantern itself. But I will use glitter glue to make sure that it's attached to the paper lantern. So just use some art glitter glue and glue it right down the middle. The fun thing with this project is that you can have your children participate and each decorate their own lantern with whatever colors they choose. So you certainly don't have to be restricted just to green and red with this. but have each child decorate their own. And these paper lanterns do come in all kinds of sizes, so you can really go to town with decorating them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Feel free to join my Facebook group. I'd love to see your projects. You can post your pictures there of your take on this decorating. And then one other fun thing you can do with this paper lantern, obviously you can just hang them as Christmas ornaments. So this would be just without the light, but you could add a light inside of it and turn it into a beautiful lamp. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and share. See you in the next video.